Alrighty. I hope you guys can hear me a little better than you could. Yeah, here today when I post the video talking about the late review. I told you guys I was gonna do it. Just took me a little bit, okay? We're reviewing TNA Impact for 9/19, 9/18. They ain't even 9/19 yet, but 9/19, 2014. Um, this was the No Surrender edition of TNA Impact. Honestly, the more I see these pay-per-view themed impacts, I'm kind of miss them actually being pay-per-views, because it's just amazing what TNA does as far as putting fantastic matches, fantastic, good, and on a 2 hour card that that would be so beneficial if they had a little bit more time having that 3 hour card or that I guess technically 2 hours and 45 minute type of card, right? Um, it's just really interesting to think about. If you think about the last what since they've been in New York and probably even the Bethlehem shows since they got out of the Impact Zone about 3 months ago, I guess you could say, and they've been kind of I think they were always pre-taping their shows, but there's been hype, and the Pennsylvania crowd was pretty hype as well. Like it's just amazing, dude. Like I feel like not only has TNA shifted to focusing on the wrestling, which is great, but two, TNA has to it feels like I feel like every show is important for some reason. I don't know if you guys feel that way, but I know I personally feel like every show to me feels important. It feels like there's meaning to every show. There's always some kind of big match every week that makes you say, "I need to watch." Especially if you're a general wrestling fan, right? There's always a big match every week that says that makes you think, "I want to see this show," right? And I think tonight, as you see the overlay, I think tonight the biggest match of the night, as far as going into it, was Lashley versus Bobby Roode. Obviously, we had the ladder match for the three teams in the tag team title series. But man, I mean, I feel like there were some really good matches tonight. Man, I don't know, man. I can only just continue to commend TNA because it done some really good things with like it's just so much different than what we were seeing before. I mean, I've always been a pretty decent supporter of TNA. Not that I thought they'd been perfect by any means, but I always hoped they would turn it around, and hope that you know, through the bad would come some good stuff, stuff like that, And I think we've seen some really good things, and I honestly feel like the Spike TV discussion to where are they gonna re-sign with Spike TV? I honestly feel like that kind of helped them a little bit. That kind of put them, excuse me, that kind of put their backs to the wall and said, "Hey, you guys need to, you know, you can focus on wrestling or focus on promos." And let's be honest, what what made TNA what it was, right? I know people complained and complained and complained. Well, TNA storylines just aren't really that good. They just aren't really that good. And then as soon as TNA starts to focus on the storylines, then people get mad. Well, the wrestling is really depleted, man. Like I know I said focus on the storylines, but now they should go back and focus on the wrestling. But don't forget about the story. You know what I mean? I feel like you know, this is what brought put TNA on the map was the wrestling, right? So let's focus on wrestling for now, and let's focus on the storylines and the promos. Let's focus on that later, right? Right now, TNA's putting on good shows because of the wrestling. If you listen to anyone who's praising TNA right now, it's because of the wrestling. If anyone's bashing TNA, they're probably missing. They're probably not understanding what's going on right now, right? And I'm not saying they don't understand. Everyone's entitled to their own opinion. I'm just saying, hey, you know, if you're bashing TNA right now for the great show that's put on over the last couple of months, I mean, what do you want them to do, right? I mean, if they were storyline based, you would say they copy WWE. If they now they aren't, you're like, well, this just sucks. And I'm like, you know, I don't think you just don't get it, you know. But anyway, we're getting into this review. Sorry, I went on a little tangent there, but I think sometimes you got to, right? You got to just kind of get your thoughts out. This is how I've felt over the past couple of weeks, and I know I haven't done a review since. Wow, it's been a while since I've done a review. I think it's been since the last tag team. So I don't think I did a review. I definitely didn't do a review last week. And I think it was the week before when I did the review. I wanted to do a review last week, but man, I watched the show so late, dude. It wasn't even, or actually, I was going out of town. That's what it was. So I was going out of town that weekend, so I really didn't get a chance to, do a review. I wanted to, but I didn't. So to start out this show, we had the Knockouts Battle Royal. And one more thing before I get into this, before I start talking about the Knockouts Battle Royal, I think I've said it before, and I know I've said it before. Um, to start this, off with a match, it makes it feel like a pay-per-view, right? It makes it feel like No Surrender. My only complaint is change the aprons, right? You know what I mean? I know you probably have old aprons. I don't, but I also didn't think about it till just now. But they may not have the aprons to fit the six-sided ring. I didn't think about that. So they may be trying to create some more aprons to fit the six-sided ring. And I could see that definitely happening. So we got the Knockouts Battle Royal: Madison Rayne, Taryn Terrell, Brittany, Rebel, Velvet Sky, and Havoc. This is for the number one contenders position for the Knockouts title. What happened here? Oh, actually, the way I read them, that's how they got eliminated. I was surprised Rebel lasted as long as she did, and Havoc wins, which is not surprising. Typical Battle Royal. Same things happen over and over again. When Taryn Terrell hit the steps, though, that was kind of weird. As far as like the spot was kind of not weird, but it kind of looked impactful. She took that neck breaker spot a couple weeks ago, or it may have even been last week. The neck breaker spot on the steps I think it was a couple weeks ago, and then then she took a step type of spot here. It's weird though. Who was the last number one contender that you can think of? Taryn Terrell, right? What position do you think she got eliminated in this match? Second. Yep, she got eliminated second, which was just weird to me, right? Um, First it was Madison Rayne getting eliminated, then Taryn Terrell, then Brittany, my girl, excuse me, then Brittany, and then it was Rebel, and then Velvet Sky, and then Havoc obviously won once she was the last one in the ring. I was actually surprised that Rebel lasted so long. She just had her debut in ring last week, so that was actually a little surprising to see her last that long. So it's gonna be interesting to see if they're gonna keep her around in the Knockouts division to kind of do some things. I was actually a little surprised they didn't try to bring Brooke Tessmacher back out again and get her in the ring. I was actually surprised about that. Havoc pretty much wins in dominating fashion here. That's pretty much how it happened. Next, we had a little backstage segment here with Gunner basically telling Samuel Shaw he should see a therapist. Um, last week I didn't get to do my review last week, as you guys know, but I mean, I saw my girl Brittany checking out Samuel Shaw. She can't be doing that because, we got a thing. We got a thing, obviously, so she can't be doing that. But anyway, Samuel Shaw is definitely a player because he's already thinking about someone else. Now, the funny part here is, the little ironic part is, who is Samuel Shaw thinking about? You could say, well, maybe it's Christy Hemme. Maybe he's, back in his creepy days. Or, if it's not Brittany, it may be Christy Hemme. But who's he kind of been around a ton? Kind of been around Gunner and been a little overprotective of Gunner. I'm not even insinuating that. I'm just saying if he's thinking about someone else already that's not Brittany, the only person he's really been around is Gunner. So I mean, I'm just throwing that out there. Anyway, we had a promo where basically it was Kenny King and MVP coming out. Actually, it was expecting a tag team match because they were both addressed to fight. But actually, that wasn't the case. Basically, they were trying to quote unquote congratulate Chris Melendez for his in ring debut last week, and him being an American hero. Basically, they offered him a little branch to carry their bags and join the group a little bit. Just trying to join the group, be the bag boy or whatever. It seemed like that's what they were trying to do there. But basically, this leads to a Kenny King versus Chris Melendez match. Chris Melendez gets his second win of his professional wrestling career. You guys don't know who Chris Melendez is. He's a war hero. I'm definitely gonna do a video about Chris Melendez because I think it's just amazing, man. I really want to talk about it in another video and not get off on a tangent here, uh, as I've already done a couple times already. Basically, what happens here is Melendez wins with a like sit down roll up type of thing, where I don't really know how to explain it, and I'm kind of upset that I don't remember what it means. I mean, what it's actually called. Anderson basically comes to save the day after Kenny King attacks Chris Melendez. He was basically Kenny King before the match was telling Chris Melendez how, he wasn't a war hero, he was just a cripple, and this was before and after the match. He's just picking on him like crazy, and Anderson saves the day here. The commentators seem really sick to their stomach about what Kenny King was saying. So him saying things he was saying was definitely to bring on heel heat. I don't know if it was too far. I'm not sure. You never know, man. We're not dealing with death per se, but I don't know. That's if Chris Melendez is fine with it, I think it's okay. I would say it's okay. Excuse me if you couldn't hear me, but I would say it's okay if Chris Melendez thinks it's okay, right? It's his thing. That's who he is. So if he's fine with it, even in a storyline type of way, then that's fine. I'm fine with it as long as he's fine with it. Next, we had Homicide versus Samoa Joe for the X Division title. This was your typical. I didn't think. It wasn't really that typical of an X Division match, honestly. It was just a good wrestling match to me, personally. There was a good reversal by Samoa Joe where he reverses the cutter into the Coquina clutch. That was cool. And Taz and Mike Tenay were talking about how, excuse me, Homicide's finishing move is the Gringo Killer. Well, honestly, if Homicide, hits Samoa Joe the Gringo Killer, Joe might just die. That's a lot of weight coming down on Joe's neck area. So I don't know if he's ever gotten hit with the move or not, but with as small as Homicide is, he just drops him, neck broke, Joe's dead. You know what I mean? That would be like what would happen, right? That would be ridiculous, right? But Joe does win when he reverses that cutter into the Coquina clutch, and retains his X Division title. I did think this was a pretty good match. I was pretty impressed. I just can't get over the Austin Aries Sonata match for the X Division title a couple weeks, not a couple weeks ago. It's been a while back now. Not terribly long, but it's been a nice little bit back now. I think they were still in the 4-sided ring at that point. It feels like we've been in the 6-sided ring for a nice little bit now, but I think that's been the X Division match of the year, if I think about it. I'm not sure right now. I mean, this is just we're only like what we're a little bit past half of the year. Yeah, a little bit past half of the year, about 2 months, 3 months past half of the year. So we're getting down to the nitty gritty. We're in the fourth we're in the last fourth of the month. So the fourth for the month. Anyway, after this match, James Storm and the Great Sonata attack Joe and Homicide. Basically, this allows James Storm to reveal the new Manic. I don't really know what they're gonna call him, but basically, it was Manic with a different type of mask on. I can't remember what James Storm said last week, but he said something about, or even the week before when he took Manic, or it may have been last week when he took Manic. I didn't do a review, so I'm kind of confused on what I did. I mean, what happened last week a little bit. It's when he did take Manic, he said he said something to the extent of my followers don't wear masks or don't or they speak for themselves, something like that. the speak for themselves came from because when the mask tonight he had covered his eyes and his nose but didn't cover his mouth. So that it was a pretty interesting. It's a new little thing for Manic. Manic's not getting a lot of TV time. Hasn't gotten a lot of TV time over the past couple of years. So I'm hoping this will help him. Right. I'm hoping this will um, get it going to where Manic can get some TV time, especially in the X division, because that would be so great. Maybe even get time soon. Um, Next, we had the Wolves versus the Hardys versus Team 3D in the triple threat ladder match, I guess you could call it. The triple threat tag team ladder match, I guess, is technically would be the technical term for it. This match was incredible. I was in love with it completely. Um, you know, the first match I thought was pretty okay. I thought it was a kind of a chemistry building point between the three teams. Obviously, we know the Hardys and Team 3D have chemistry. But when you add in the Wolves, you kind of got to get chemistry from them too. I thought the table match was actually really good. I was really impressed by the table match. And then tonight, once the match got started, and people started falling off of ladders, and Jeff Hardy was doing his ridiculous stuff that he always does. He's taking ridiculous spots. Anytime Jeff Hardy takes a ridiculous spot, I think the match just goes up a notch, right? I don't even know how Jeff Hardy does it, dude. Jeff Hardy is just ridiculous. I know I was watching. Quick story, real quick. I was watching with my mom, and I don't always watch wrestling with my mom. She was just happened to be on a treadmill, and I was watching some TNA back from when Jeff Hardy was fighting Bobby Lashley, and there were just a couple spots like when he hit the steps and when he swanton the steps and stuff like that. And when he just did the Swanton Bomb in general, my mom's like, he's so stupid, and I'm like, I don't, it's a new era of wrestling. This isn't the '80s, Mom. This isn't the '70s and '80s. It's different today. What what you would think is stupid then, we don't think is stupid now. This is like normal for us. You know what I mean? She saw that in the Monsters Ball match, but I'll probably talk about that later. I'm trying to get through this so you guys can, if you're watching live, can head to that sleep thing, and plus, I don't want to make this video too long. So, I mean, pretty much a couple spots that I noted in this match. The Whisper in the Wind while the Wolves were holding the ladder, that was pretty ridiculous. Jeff Hardy just straight up hit the ladder. He didn't hit the Wolves. He hit like the beam of the ladder, which was just ridiculous. Jeff Hardy's the greatest of all time at just putting his body on the line. And I don't know if he's the greatest of all time, but he's up there. Him and Mick Foley, I mean, they were up there, right? I mean, they may be 1A and 1B. I mean, if you think about it. I mean, and I'm not including any ECW guys. I'm not including like Terry Funk. I'm talking about like just from the top of my head right now. I mean, obviously you got some ECW guys who could definitely be in that conversation too, but the two people I'm thinking of right now was definitely Hardy because he was in this match, and Mick Foley just because you just think about everything Mick Foley's been through in his career pain-wise. We had that Whisper in the Wind into that ladder. We had a power bomb from Bully Ray to Davey Richards that basically you had a ladder set up like a seesaw. So he powerbombed him on the one side of the ladder. Obviously, the upside of the ladder goes down, the downside goes up. Smacks the crap out of Matt Hardy, and I think it may have been Eddie Edwards over there too as well. So it was, I definitely remember Matt Hardy. That spot was pretty good. We saw a couple of chants in this match. We saw we didn't see the chants. We heard the chants, obviously. We heard we want tables. This is awesome. This is wrestling. Just a few of the chants we heard in this match. We saw a spot. Jeff Hardy again, just putting his body on the line. This man is just ridiculous. Puts his body on the line again. He takes a superplex all the way from the top of the ladder. The dude's feet hit the title belts. Now you're high up when you can kick the freaking tag title belts. Ridiculous. There was a twist of fate, not twist of fate, but Swanton Bomb moonsault combo on Team 3D. There was a splash on Davey Richards with a ladder. It was kind of like a wheelbarrow type of hold up from the ladder. One side was being held up by the ropes, another side was being held up by the by Matt Hardy, and Jeff Hardy does a splash onto him that was ridiculous. I was actually expecting a swanton bomb, but Jeff Hardy's done too much as of like these whole New York tapings. I don't know how he's even survived the entire New York taping. So Jeff Hardy's the man, dude. I love Jeff Hardy. Um, so in this match, I think we kind of got a preview of what's going down in the next match, right? We saw tables, we saw ladders, we saw chairs. Think about that, okay? I saw some great foreshadowing in this match. Wasn't surprised that it was foreshadowed that way. I don't know. I guess it should be a pinfall match because it would be weird to see a tables, ladders, and chairs match with the title hanging above the ring when it's kind of weird. I guess they could possibly do a tables, ladders, and chairs match where, like, let me see. I'm trying to think of how they could do this because they're probably going to wait till Bound for Glory to do this because it would make so much more sense to do that, right? Because the next team to win wins the title. So, um, I don't know how they're going to do this. They could do a King of the Mountain type of stipulation where you got to put the belts back up, but I don't know. It's probably going to end up being pinfall submission type of thing. It looked like it was great foreshadowing, though, seeing tables, ladders, and chairs. And it kind of brought it back a little, excuse me, nostalgia from the old matches that we've seen, from Edge and Christian, Hardy's, and 3D, obviously. Um, one more spot in this match was a double foot stomp from Davey to Matt through the table outside the ring. Basically, the Wolves did win this match. I think I can say duh on that one. I think if the Hardys won the first one, Team 3D won the second one, or actually it's the other way around. Team 3D won the first one, Hardys won the second one, and then the Wolves win the third one. It makes sense. Bound for Glory is less than a month away, so why wouldn't they continue this series? There was something going on with Bully Ray that I heard about, where something about his contract. I'm thinking he's back now. I'm not trying to spoil anything because I don't really know what went down. I just kind of saw it, and I stayed away from it for a while just because I just want to be surprised about it, right? The crowd was hyped during this match with all the chants and everything. Jeff Hardy's just ridiculous. All three of these teams just ridiculous. I'm also going to do a video later on about the greatest tag team out of these three teams, not out of everyone, just out of probably these three teams, since we're talking about who's the greatest. Next we had Bram versus Gunner. This was kind of just to continue the Gunner Samuel Shaw dissension, when Bram and Gunner came out, I was like, is this the twin battle right now? Because Gunner and Bram look like not identical, but they look very similar. I saw Bram and I was like, the first time I saw Bram, it was like when Gunner. It was right after Gunner had a match, and I was like, "How did Gunner get back there already?" And because they didn't explain who it was. It was just kind of him talking to Magnus. I'm like, "How did Gunner get back there already? What in the world? This is." I understand his tape, but come on, give me some realism, TNA. But obviously Shaw's being overprotective and concerned for his friend. My question is, when Shaw comes into the ring and attacks, tries to attack Bram but hits Gunner, where's the DQ? Come on, Earl. Come on, Earl. Come on, man. Like, where's the DQ? And I guess technically because he didn't hit who he was trying to hit, he didn't get a DQ. Didn't really make sense. Basically, this allowed Bram to recover and Bram to roll up Gunner, basically. Next, we have the World Heavyweight title match. Bobby Roode versus Bobby Lashley. I don't know if they've changed his name to Lashley officially. I think it's Bobby. I think they just shortened it for Lashley the majority of the time. This match, not Bobby Roode. Bobby Roode and Lashley are going at it. MVP gets involved. Kenny King gets involved. MVP gets thrown out. Um, Kenny King gets thrown out. I can't remember. King gets taken out by EY. You know what I mean? When if you think about it, when the MVP got thrown out, there were still 15 minutes of actual the television screen left in this match. So like 15 minutes of the show left, and usually they end, They end at 11 every week. They're consistent with that. But let's just run down this match. First off, you got to set the stage. You got the it factor, the the it factor of professional wrestling. And Bobby Roode versus the Destroyer Lashley, the World Heavyweight Champion. You know, JB from the start of this match, I don't know, man. JB is one of my favorite announcers right now, and I love how JB they did the slow bell ring, which I am a huge fan of, and JB, he's weighed in this morning. When you say weighed in this morning, I just I feel like it's a big fight feel to me. Personally, I don't know if it's to everyone else. I may be the only one. I may be on the island. I may be chilling with Gilligan on the island. But I just personally feel like it's a big fight feel. It's just a personal thing for me. The slow bell ring makes me feel like it's the main event, and plus it makes me feel like it's a title match. And and it feels like a pay-per-view as well, because we don't get this every Impact. We get this on pay-per-views. I mean, good gravy, man. TNA has done such a good job just making the Impact themed pay-per-views feel like pay-per-views, right? I don't know if you guys agree with me. I agree with myself because I am myself, so I honestly agree with myself. But I think they've really done a good job of making these feel like pay-per-views. Let's see. So, one thing that was a little different in this match from Lashley, he wasn't alone this time. A lot of times we've seen Lashley come out with money, power, and respect the rest of the crew thing, and he's kind of just sent them to the back, or they've kind of just went to the back. For some reason tonight, they stayed with him. I don't know why. It gave the match a different feel to me. It gave Lashley even a different feel to me. He didn't feel like as in control of the match tonight as he's always felt. Plus, the competition was a little bit higher. The longest reigning TNA World Heavyweight Champion, so it makes a lot of sense. It just made me feel like, I mean, I wrote this at the beginning. Something was up, right? Something had to be up. I felt like something really had to be up. I felt like either Roode was gonna get screwed, and then it was gonna let Roode continue to be the number one contender, bidding up for Bound for Glory. Where obviously they're gonna drop Roode. They're gonna drop the championship to Roode. It only makes sense, right? They're trying to make Roode the face of the company. There's no more AJ Styles. No more Christopher Sabin. There's no more Christopher Sabin. There's no more Chris Sabin. There's no more Christopher Daniels. There's no more Kazarian. You know what I mean? There's no more of those. There's not a ton of those original guys. So I feel like giving the belt at the biggest pay-per-view that TNA calls the biggest pay-per-view of the year, giving the belt to Bobby Roode will be smart. The weird thing is, after this match, I'll tell you about it. It was just kind of weird to me. After this match, a little announcement that was made. So, without even giving away anything, with Money, Power, Respect staying out there, I think it made me feel like something was up. It really did. It made me feel like something was going to happen. Not Lashley, but Roode was going to get screwed. I feel like this match, it was nice to see a match start with a collar and elbow tie-up. It makes me feel like it's a legit wrestling match. It makes me feel like I'm watching amateur wrestling, which I don't even watch. But I don't even know if they do that. But you know what I mean? It makes me feel. It just makes me feel like you have some kind of wrestling background. When you start with punches, I feel like it's a fight. When you start with a collar and elbow tie-up, it feels like a wrestling match to me. It just does. I mean, scripted, but still. If it can feel valid to me, I'm gonna feel a lot better. Money, power, respect. I feel like they were kind of weakening Lashley here, because Lashley didn't feel like he was in the control as he usually is. MVP got thrown out after he grabbed the leg of Bobby Lashley. There was multiple times where MVP and Kenny King got involved. Kenny King jumped up on the apron. He didn't get thrown out for jumping up on the apron, but MVP did get thrown out for grabbing Roode's leg. So, there was the spear. Well, actually, Lashley attempted the spear, and it got reversed into a crossface. It looked great. It really did. Kenny King gets involved, and basically that brings EY to take him out. There was no disqualification. The referee was really lenient, which I really love. It's a little bit different when it's Gunner versus Bram, and compared to the World Heavyweight Championship match, right? You can be a little lenient then. Um, EY does take Kenny King out. Um, Bobby Roode kicks out of a spear. Basically, what happened here was to just set this little portion of the match up. There was a spear by Lashley that got reversed into a crossface. Well, Kenny King's grabbing Bobby Roode's leg, trying to, get Lashley out of the hold. EY comes out and takes out Kenny King. Again, Lashley goes for the spear as Bobby Roode's not looking. He goes for the spear. Once again, I'm pretty sure Roode reversed it into a crossface again, and then Roode, it looked like maybe Lashley was going to tap, but Lashley didn't tap. Obviously, it wouldn't make any sense for the Destroyer, the beast of a champion, to tap. Maybe to get knocked out and pinned, knocked out, within reason, and pinned, but not necessarily submit. It wouldn't make any sense. So, and then we had Bobby Roode. Bobby Roode gets speared, and he kicks out of the spear. And then after this is a couple moves later, Roode sets Lashley up for the Roode bomb. Lashley does the reverse the Dolph Ziggler move where he grabs the ropes. If you know what I'm talking about, where Ziggler goes for the zigzag and everyone grabs the ropes. But Lashley is up for the Roode bomb. Lashley grabs the ropes. Roode decides, you know what? I'm just gonna Roode bomb you outside of the ring. Lashley takes a big bump on the outside of the ring. I just feel like these TNA wrestlers take some of the most ridiculous spots I've ever seen. Jeff Hardy, Lashley, all of these guys just take, they just put their body on the line, and it's just, it's one of those things that's, you don't see every day. Not everyone would do it, but these guys sacrifice their bodies, for the entertainment of us. And, are we glamoring for them to be hurt? No. We're definitely like, ooh, is he okay? You know what I mean? You're definitely like, I'd probably be hurt after that, Next, Bobby Roode goes up top. This is after he pushes, he kind of rolls Lashley back in the ring. He goes back up top. Well, he goes up top to the top turnbuckle, and he's press slammed off the top turnbuckle. Lashley goes for the spear. Roode leapfrogs him a little thing that Lashley does a ton. He did it twice in this match alone. Oh my goodness, I can't even talk at this point. But Roode leapfrogs Bobby Lashley, and he tweaks his knee. This sets up a follow-up spear that basically gave Bobby Lashley the win. That's how the show ended. Bobby Lashley still world heavyweight champion. It's not the actual belt, but he is the person that holds it. But interesting. One thing that's interesting to note here. There's a number of contenders. 5-man. I don't know if it's a gauntlet match. I'm not sure what type of match they said. I know there's like a 5-man match next week that's gonna determine the number one contender for Lashley. The interesting thing was Bobby Roode wasn't in this, so it's gonna be interesting to see, because I feel like they're trying their best to push Roode to where he's the champion at Bound for Glory, where he's the champion after Bound for Glory ends, right? So, I think that's the smartest thing to do. It's gonna be interesting to see what they're gonna do to get Roode back in the title picture before Bound for Glory, because Bound for Glory is on the 12th of October, so that's less than a month from now. So everything that's probably gonna be set up from now on is gonna be set up to push towards Bound for Glory. So guys, if you enjoyed the video, please give it a thumbs up. I don't know if you can, if you're watching it on Google Plus Hangouts or not, but when it goes on, it's gonna go on YouTube here in a little bit. My username is DJ Bill. Well, actually, I think it's Dollar Bill at this point. I think I changed it to Dollar Bill. I'm pretty sure. But guys, if you want to go by my YouTube channel and give it a like, it's up to you. You want to subscribe? There's more content coming, I promise. I've just been busy, as busy can be recently. But guys, there were some good matches tonight. The matches that if you can't watch the whole show, or if you don't want to watch the whole show, the matches you gotta go watch. Number one, the ladder match, cause good. I mean, yeah, no, just lost for words at this point of that match. That match was really, really, really great. I really, truly enjoyed it. It was up there with the incredible echelon of things. I mean, obviously, the X Division match I thought was pretty good. Excuse me. And the world title match. I feel like these world title matches recently have really given some prestige to the title. Has really felt like they really care about this title. You know what I mean? I know. For those of you casual wrestling fans who come by and watch reviews, and you're like, oh my god, it's so fake. Just like that. When it feels real to me, I can't. I'm not saying I'm like, yeah, this is so real. Woo! No, I'm saying when it feels real to me, I'm more inclined to be more interested in it. I'm more inclined to be more emotionally interested in it, and just interested in it in general, right? But guys, I hope you guys enjoyed. If you want to go on my YouTube channel, it's either DJ Bill or Dollar Bill. Dollar with an A, not an ER. Did I just spell? Did I spell that dollar? Oh my goodness. I just did the worst spelling of dollar ever. Um, Please, guys, never spell dollar with an ER. um, because yeah, that's not the right spelling for one. Um, Guys, I hope you guys enjoyed. If you did enjoy, leave a like if you can. If it's even possible for you. If you're going on Google Plus, you can share this. That would be beautiful. I'd be happy. I'd be smiling and stuff. You couldn't see me, but I'd be happy. Be really happy. If you're on my YouTube channel right now, go ahead and hit that subscribe button if you want. If you don't want to, well, that's just too doggone bad. You're obligated. You're obligated. Okay? You're obligated. Now, you're obligated. Now, go share this video. Go tell someone about it. Go subscribe. Go do whatever you gotta do. Okay? Let them know. Let them know. Peace, fellas, ladies, whatever you are. See you later. Bye bye. Peace.